Welcome, everyone. It's really good to be here with you today. And again, we're joined by one of my favorite mentors and teachers and guides. It's Bernie Fitterer, and he is a leading spiritual teacher and premium coach based in Calgary, Canada. So thank you very much for being with us here again today, Bernie. I'm very excited because we're going to talk about your program a bit today, and I have a really juicy question to ask you. So thanks for being here.
Well, thanks, Liz, and thanks for doing these videos once more.
So you have a program coming up. It's a really meaningful program. It's starting at the end of the week, and it's called Shift Your Thought and Shape Your Trust. It's got a beautiful title, and it's really going to be all about the development of trust, which is a primary characteristic of all us teachers, and everybody is a teacher, as A Course in Miracles tells us. It's a 4-day online immersive webinar series, and we're going to speak a little bit more about it further down in this conversation. But one of the things I wanted to ask you on is that there's a lot of gold in this program, and for me, I would like to focus on the container. I feel that what you are creating here is very intentionally, it's small and it's a deeply connected space for the participants that are coming in. So, Bernie, can you tell us what becomes possible when people feel safe enough to stop performing, to be honestly seen, and to soften into trust together, and why that matters for transformation in A Course in Miracles?
Well, thank you for the introduction, Liz, and thank you for the comments and the question. And you hit some key points in that around feeling safe, around performance, about being honest. How do we soften, and how do ultimately, how do we be vulnerable? Because it's in the softening that we come to be vulnerable. And in this webinar series, we'll be focusing on how do we show up being authentic. And it is so important because if we come into a place, and a lot of times when we move into a space, we can come in wanting to perform, and we'll try to impress. So, we may try to impress by wanting to hold on, show up in a way that really brings something profound. Or on the flip side of that, we may want to come in as the victim. And if we're going to come in as the victim, what we're doing is we're wanting somebody else to take responsibility for us in the experience. And with this, both cases, you're going to have an unsatisfactory outcome. And the reason for that is because you're wanting somebody else to look after the space, or you're wanting to show up and you're not being humble and you're not being curious. And it's only when we're humble and curious that we actually are in a position to learn. And it's in the humble curiosity we transform. And the transformation really is from the awareness of our body self or ego self to our divine spirit self. That is where transformation shows up. So it's key that we have a childlike mind that's humble and curious and ready to receive. And we get there, and the way the container is set up is we get there by being able to have a voice to share vulnerably, to share honestly, without criticism, without judgment. And as we do so, and as we each do so in that container, what happens is we give permission to others to again be curious and to be vulnerable. And the more that we share from that, the more we soften into it, the greater the depth of the experience and the greater the transformation that occurs. One of the key things around that, and this is from A Course in Miracles, there's a quote, and I believe I may be off on it, but I believe what it says is, in our vulnerability, our invulnerability lies. So
Mm.
we have a container to be vulnerable, and in that we become invulnerable because we're not sharing, because we're in a safe place. And it's in that that we're actually able to shift our thoughts. And when we shift our thoughts, we shape our trust. We then become much more honest. And it's in our honesty that we become trustworthy, and others recognize us as trustworthy. So, in this container, the idea is to come into it with stories, with experiences, with things that are going on. We share that in confidence in the circle. That's not to be shared outside, but whoever can learn something from that experience, they can take what they learn and share that in the world. Not the story, not the person, just the lesson that they learned. And that's where transformation does come in. So when we're being honest, when we listen, when we're being humbly curious, when we observe to learn rather than observe to either absorb or to judge, we deepen our connection within ourselves. We deepen our connection with others. And in that, we actually join with the mind of our source in that space of love, in the home of the one mind. The Course calls it the atonement. And it's in that that healing actually occurs. Transformation generally comes up because we're beyond our attachments, and healing then is way beyond any performance we might show up as on the surface.
Wow. Yeah, that just about sums it up. I'm just laughing because in my experience, it's quite a developmental process, isn't it? It really is. And I know for me in particular, I've, I mean, there's been all those areas I've needed to work on, as you've mentioned, moving away from, say, the ego into much more of an honest and soul level of opening up. But I would say the performance piece has been tough because, yeah, I think because a lot of my past career, so it's taken quite a bit for me to shift away from that, finally get to a place where we're just yearning for sincerity and connection and just our permission to be fully human.
Jump
So
in here for
yeah,
one moment here. Uh,
yeah,
when we have a
please
safe
do.
container that is trusting, we will then take that out into, we'll embody it and we'll take it out into the world because we've practiced it. Without practicing being trusting and trustful and trustworthy, we stay stuck in where we are.
Yeah, and that's what you're offering. That's your offering for this weekend. And the offering it starts on May 29th and it goes to June 1st. Shift your thought and shape your trust. It's a 4-day online immersive experience. They're 90 minutes each. You can get more details of that directly from Bernie. You can get in touch with him. And I know there's going to be some people here that are already signed up for it. And I'm going to be helping to moderate the series itself. And I know Bernie and myself are very much both looking forward to seeing you there. And then there's going to be some viewers here today who this is resonating that this kind of space they might be ready for. And so if you're wanting to hear more about it, as I mentioned, you can get in touch directly with Bernie. It runs from May 29th again until June 1st, and the doors are closing on Thursday. So there's just a few more days, so I wouldn't wait on that too much longer. And again, it's a very intimate space. There's a maximum of 25 participants at the ceiling level, and it's a very focused, sacred space on that's being created to give us rich experience in the development of trust, which is, as you mentioned, Bernie, it's everything. So I'd like to thank the viewers for being here with us. And Bernie, thank you so much for taking the time to be here in this conversation, and deep gratitude to you for offering this great program to everybody. Yeah, looking forward to it very much.
Yes, I am too. It'll be a good, good depth, and we'll have some fun.